All right, guys. Live stream should be starting now. We only have 3 games to talk about on Tuesday, but I still think it should be a pretty fun slate. I probably wouldn't play cash games on this slate just because there's a lot of different ways you can go. I think it's a fun slate for tournaments. You have a lot of guys in that like 4 to 5K range that all look like similar. So again, probably not a cash game slate, but still one that I think is fun for GPPs. Injury news-wise, we're really not waiting on much. I think the only big piece of news we're waiting on is who starts for Joe Harris. Do they start Patty Mills like they did the second half? Do they move Javon Carter in the starting lineup? Do they do something weird and maybe move like Bembry or James Johnson? The Nets can do a ton of different things. So that's really the only big piece of news that we are waiting for. But yeah, guys, if you are just coming in, make sure to leave a like button on the live stream. It does help me out a ton, and subscribe to the channel. And then leave some questions in the chat. Again, I'll be Q&A style, so questions, I will answer them. Let's do it. Bill said, let's see, Steph Curry, Patty Mills, Kennard. Oh, also, yeah, that's the only other one is Terrence Mann's questionable. So keep an eye on that one. But yeah, Steph, Mills, Kennard, KD, Hardenstein, Paul George, McDermott, Lonnie Walker. Or should I get rid of Paul George and share the money? LOL. I think Paul George looks like a pretty safe spend up because he's playing big minutes. He's in a really good spot there against the Spurs. And, he can go, like, he can stuff a stat sheet, right? He's a good rebounder. He's been getting a lot of assists, obviously good scorer. So I think it's a solid build. A little bit, risky. Stars and scrubs playing 3 stars. But, the value in there, I don't see any issues with what you got. Seth. Ooh, you're playing the Curry brothers. Okay. Durant, Harris. Oh, that's Tobias Harris, like Joe Harris. Reed, Mills, Brown, and DeAndre Bembry. So, Tobias is definitely more of a secondary spend up for me. I'm not saying you can't get there, but I don't love the spot against Utah. Paul Reed, the minutes haven't been great on him since Tobias returned, right? He only played 7 minutes last game, so he's probably not someone I get to either. Is Maxey too expensive? He's playable because of the amount of minutes he's going to play, but I don't think he stands out at that price, right? Well, he's 7.2, Maxey. Yeah, so he's playable, but like he's not someone that I'm looking at the slate and I'm like, oh my god, I need to start my lineup with Tyrese Maxey against the Jazz. No. For GPP, Draymond, Clarkson, or Gobert and Mills, I'll say the first one. I think the first one can have some upside if Draymond plays extra minutes. So I think there's a chance he does tonight. And then Clarkson is so boom or bust, but like he can still go for like 35, 40, even with Mitchell in the lineup. It's just he's got to hit his shots. Yeah, I mean, Clarkson's got a higher ceiling than Batum. Batum's got a much higher floor. So if you are shooting for the upside, it probably is Clarkson. But like if you play Jordan Clarkson, you got to realize he can go for like 12 fantasy points. It depends on how confident I am in the slate. Some slates I'm only putting in like 150 a night. Some slates I'm putting 400 in. Curry over under 40.5 fantasy points, rebounds, assists only. Over under. Wait, you might ask that again. Curry and KD to both go over 30 points tonight. I don't mind it. I mean, the Warriors play really fast. They've been solid defensively, but they play really fast. And the Nets are not great on the defensive end. Any interest in Whiteside? I think he's a good contrarian value option. He's going to play probably about 15 minutes off the bench. He kind of, upside in the time, but where he really smashes if Gobert gets in some foul trouble. Gobert has gotten in foul trouble a couple games. Vassell and Paul George or White and KD? That's a good question. I'll say the first one. But like those Spurs guys, like those guys are all just like look the same to me. Like that's what this slate is. A lot of the guys just look all the same. Like Derek White and Vassell and Lonnie Walker and McDermott. Like these guys all just look like similar plays. Paul George and Maxey are locks for you. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Maxi's playing big minutes. That's the positive. Favorite game to stack? I would say the optimal game to stack probably is Golden State Brooklyn, but my favorite one is the late game because I think it goes a little bit overlooked. So I think a lot of people are going to start that first game, with because you got the big names, right? Steph, KD, Harden. Obviously, that's a game that's a ton of upside, but I think that last game comes in a lot lower ownership and has similar upside. Batum, Zubac, Shake, Vassell, or Aldridge. Give me Aldridge there. The only concern with Aldridge, though, is does he get run off the court against a small ball Warriors team? That's my only concern there. If Aldridge plays 22 minutes again, I think he has a decent chance to pay off that salary. Curry, Mills, Bruce Brown, Thad Young, Draymond, White, Lonnie Walker, and KD. I have no issue with that one. Patty Mills or Bruce Brown. So it's a pretty good question. It'll probably come down to so if Patty Mills starts, my guess is he gets way more ownership than Bruce Brown. And I would think, disregarding ownership, it probably would be Patty Mills. But taking ownership in consideration if Patty Mills starts, then I think you can consider going to Bruce Brown, who probably doesn't look as optimal, but should come in at way less ownership. Keldon Johnson, I mean, he's actually been pretty safe recently. The minutes have been secure. Early on in the season, the minutes are up and down. I think the upside is higher on Zubac because he has potential to play more minutes. However, there's probably a good chance he only plays like mid-20s minutes. But at least there's a chance where Zubac could play like 30-plus minutes, right? Like Eubanks won't. Eubanks won't unless something happens to Thad Young. Murray, Mills, Paul George, Durant, Aldridge, Vassell, Iggy, and McBuckets. It's a good tournament lineup. It's risky. What team do you think scores the most points total today? Warriors, I guess. If Man plays, so interested in Kennard. Kennard would still be viable. He'd just be riskier, right? The minutes won't be as secure. He's cheap, though. The only thing I will say about Kennard is he has to hit his shots. So he's not going to do the peripheral stats. So he's still scoring dependent and still has a single-digit fantasy point floor. Prize picks, I don't think so. I can take a look again. Here, let's see. Yeah, there is this Taco Tuesday where you get 57% off. So they had Maxey at 20 something, and now he's only at 9. So you probably want to take that over if you are playing on Prize Picks. And then let's see. Let me take a look at fantasy points here, see if anything stands out. I think I like the over on Draymond at 31. The reason is I think there's a chance he plays more minutes in this game. Plus, it's FanDuel scoring on Prize Picks, so you get 3 points for a steal and a block, which Draymond is good at. Zubac seems cheap, but Hardenstein is picking up more ownership. Yeah, I think it's because of the Hardenstein price. It's easier to get to. Zubac, if I knew he was going to play 30 minutes, I would probably play him. But I think what's going to happen here most likely is Zubac probably plays 25 minutes. Hardenstein probably plays 15 minutes on the bench, and then they close small ball. Probably Harden over Murray for assist. Thoughts on Keldon? I think a pretty safe play in the mid-range. Minutes have been secure for him. Sucks that the man news won't come till 9 p.m. Yeah, but also that it's kind of a positive. I actually prefer when we have news in the late game because then it lowers the ownership on guys. So, if man gets ruled out after the first 2 games start, then you're probably going to get Luke Kennard at a lot less ownership. The middle game isn't as good. Yeah, but it should be pretty low owned. So, anything can happen. The game can go to overtime. I think Donovan Mitchell in that game looks too cheap. Iggy for value. The Golden State value it's such a headache. It's such a headache, but he's the guy that probably gets the most minutes. He's still not a super productive player, but I think we get around 25 from Iguodala, which makes him in play. Blake Griffin. Yeah, I think Blake Griffin's interesting. He's not as productive as Aldridge, but I think this game fits Blake Griffin better than it does Aldridge. A little more small ball. Blake Griffin can play against small ball teams. So, yeah, he's not going to be as productive, but he is only 4K. And so I think he's a relatively safe value play. Peyton or Walker. I think I'd rather roll the dice on Walker. I don't think he's going to be super popular because of last game. Now, the minutes have been a little bit all over the place, 16, 27, 22, 24, 18. But he didn't play that well last game. But the three previous, 23, 20, and 24. So I think Lonnie's a good GBP play tonight because that bad game last game. Like if Lonnie Walker had 23 fantasy points last game, he would probably be one of the more popular value plays because people would see 20-plus fantasy points in the last 4 games. But just because we saw that, kind of bust game last game, I think that will lower the ownership. Tori, what's up, man? Someone's playing the FanDuel free pick'ems. Who scored the best points? Seth and Harden together with George. Okay, I mean, Seth Curry is he doesn't really stand out to me, but he can still have upside. He's just got to hit his shots, right? The minutes will be there for Seth. It's just he's got to hit his shots. So, do you like Zubac? I think Zubac is playable. I'm worried about his minutes, though. I think there's a pretty good chance he only plays mid-20s minutes. Iggy, 30 minutes tonight. You think 30? I think he plays 25. Any love for DeJounte Murray? I think DeJounte Murray is going overlooked. I don't think he looks as good as some of the other stars, but I don't think the ownership's going to be that high. He's been doing a great job with stuff in the stat sheet. He probably has a little bit of a lower floor compared to some other stars, but we've seen 50 plus from him a good amount recently. So the big names are on the slate, right? Steph Curry, Durant, Harden, Paul George. All those big names I think are going to get more ownership. Where a guy like DeJounte Murray I think flies under the radar. So I don't know if he really stands out at his price, but I think I like him because I think he'll be low owned and still has upside. Can you fade Utah, Philly, or would you? I think you can fade it. If I was going to fade one game, it probably would be that one. I think my favorite play in that game is is Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell's too cheap at 8.6, so he looks like a pretty good spend up. Zubac over LMA. My only concern with those two is I think there's a chance both of their minutes could be limited, right? Maybe only 23 from Zubac, and maybe instead of 22 from Aldridge, we go down to 17, 16 because of the small ball. So I don't have a super strong take there. I'm a little bit worried about both those guys' minutes. Iguodala. So that's one of those things where if Iguodala is going to get a good amount of ownership, I would be fine fading. I do agree. I think this is a game he plays solid minutes. I think he plays 25 minutes. But if we're going to get a pretty popular Andre Iguodala on a 3-game slate, that's where I'll fade. So I'll have to gauge what I think his ownership will be. Korkmaz or Vassell? Pretty close. I think Korkmaz starts, and both those guys are kind of reliant on the scoring. I think it's a coin flip for me. Run back Paul George with Murray. I think that's fine. I don't think a lot of people will go to that late game. So, yeah, I think that's solid. Iggy usually plays in bigger games, needed versus KD. Yeah, I agree. I think Iguodala plays some solid minutes. I think Draymond Green plays some good minutes too. Guys, we're almost to 200 concurrent viewers. Appreciate you guys. 36 likes. Make sure if you're just coming in and you enjoy to hit the like button. It does help me out. Korkmaz, yeah, to answer that. Vassell or Zubac. It's pretty close. Again, this is what I'm saying. The 4 to 5K range, all these guys look very similar to me. I think Vassell can play more minutes, but I think Zubac is a little bit more productive. Again, Vassell a little bit more reliant on the scoring. So that one's, I don't have a super strong take on it. Looney or Hardenstein. So I think Looney is a little bit safer. I'm a little bit more comfortable that he plays probably around 20 minutes. But if Hartenstein somehow gets extended instead of 14 to 15 minutes of the bench, he plays closer to 20, he has way more upside. So I think the upside play is Hartenstein there, and maybe hope he picks up a couple extra minutes. The safer play, probably Looney. I think Draymond, I like his price. He's a guy that he might, instead of 32 minutes, this could be a game where you get 35 plus from Draymond. In a big matchup here against the Nets, I think there's a chance he plays more. Yeah, values are kind of all over the place. There's so many guys that look similar to me, so I don't really have any favorite values. I don't really have any favorite studs either. This is just it's good for tournaments, right? It's kind of go with what you feel. Drummond or Drummond or White. So they're different price points. I haven't made my lineup yet. I usually wait until like 20, 30 minutes before lock before I make my lineup. White, Thad, or Bledsoe? It's a good question. Now, Bledsoe has been playing a lot more minutes recently. I'll say Bledsoe. Reggie, Jackson, Derek White, Mitchell, Clarkson, Iggy, Katie, Hardenstein, Tobias, and Gobert. It's a contrarian build. But, yeah, I mean, you got a lot of exposure in that middle game, which I think will go pretty low owned. Yeah, exactly. If I do play Aldridge, please go the other way. I played him the first night of the season at like 5% ownership. It was very low ownership, and I was so happy. Aldridge was like 3.8K, and like the field overlooked him, and I was just like so happy I got him a low ownership. And I'm sure you guys remember if you watched that game, he looked like he didn't belong in a basketball court. But every other game now, he's just been smashing. I'm just like, it's just like, are you serious, bro? Are you serious? Thoughts on Thad? I like Thad. I think Thad Young is a guy that – the reason I like Thad is he stuffs the stat sheet, so he doesn't have to score the ball to get you there. I think both teams close small, and I think if they do, that Thad Young probably closes. Murray or Mitchell. I think Mitchell looks more optimal. So I think Mitchell's more the optimal play. Murray's a guy you can go to for tournaments. I don't think he looks as good point per dollar, but he also probably comes in a lot less ownership. What do you think of Steph, Patty Mills, Korkmaz, Bruce Brown, KD, Niang, Revenge Game, Eubanks, and DeJounte Murray? I think it's fine. Again, there's so like the five, like this range, guys. This is what I'm talking about. This range of like 5. Hold on, let's go to it. Like 4 to 5K. There's so many guys that look like identical to me. So like Derek White, Seth Curry, Thad Young, Bledsoe, Clarkson, Batum, Zubac, Aldridge, Vassell, Korkmaz, Eubanks, Royce O'Neal. Like these guys all look so similar. Then even like some of the cheaper plays, like Niang, Kennard, Patty Mills, Lonnie Watt. Like it's a good one for tournaments because like no one really stands out in my opinion. Durant or Curry. So I would say the upside is higher on Steph. I think the floor is a little higher on KD. Curry or Mitchell and Blake Griffin or Aldridge. Again, the upside is higher on Curry. I think Mitchell is probably your cash game play, though. He looks more optimal. And then Blake Griffin or Aldridge. Aldridge should be more productive. I'm a little worried about his minutes, though, potentially going down against a small ball team. So that one's basically a toss-up. Like, Blake Griffin's going to be less productive, but he's also cheaper, and I'm more confident in his minutes. Murray or Mitchell. Again, Mitchell's your optimal play. Murray, the reason you go to DeJounte Murray is ownership, right? He doesn't look as good. But he'll be, I think, pretty low on his 3-game slate. Jackson or Bledsoe. I'll lean Bledsoe for the price. But Jackson, I would say Jackson probably has more upside if he hits his shots. He's just not been shooting the ball the best. Mitchell should, yeah, I think Mitchell's too cheap. I agree. I think he's too cheap. Griffin over LMA. Yeah, it's pretty close. Let's just say this. If I knew Aldridge played 22 minutes and Blake Griffin played 24, I would rather go Aldridge. But, like, my worry is I think there's a chance Aldridge actually sees less minutes tonight. Harris, he's just a contrarian spend-up. Doesn't stand out in the slate. There's a chance he can still get there, but it's a tough matchup, and the price doesn't really look great. No one's. I would say no one's a lock. There's no one that's a lock for me. Bledsoe ownership looks pretty high. Is it going to be pretty high? If that's the case, I'm fine fading, but like the minutes have been trending up on him. Dude, if I get 3 straight ejections, I'm going to lose my mind. I've had back-to-back ejections, guys, previous slates. Low on Oubre 2 slates ago, and then low on Anthony Davis last night. Keldon or Thad Young for the Spurs? It's a really good question. I think Keldon probably looks a little bit safer. So if you had the salary, I think it would be Keldon. Draymond was on the Madden cast, said he was going to break the Madden curse. Expect a 50 burger from Dre. Hope so. Thoughts on running Looney and Hartenstein? I mean, they're both fine salary relief plays. Looney probably plays 20 minutes. Hartenstein probably about 15. Hartenstein will be more productive. If for some reason he plays a little bit more, like foul trouble and Zubac or something like that, then Hartenstein could have a really good game. Is Patty Mills viable? Yeah, I think Patty Mills would be pretty popular, especially if he starts. He started the second half last game. There's no guarantee he starts. So I would actually think Patty Mills doesn't start. If you want to, I think Javon Carter starts. I think they want to bring Patty Mills off the bench, but I could be wrong. Steph, Clarkson, Vassell, Johnson, Rudy Gobert, Jackson, Batum, and Eubanks. Forgot Niang Revenge. It is Niang Revenge game narrative if you're into that. How do you feel if you're going to? How would we know if you're going to? I don't know. You had to read my mind. because I don't know. I don't even know who I'm playing yet. Whiteside at center. He's in play for tournaments. Probably plays 15 minutes. Will be productive. The way he smashes is if Gobert gets in foul trouble. Yeah, right. Where's Skeets McGee? Where's the the very clear? He was clearly the play, right? Like where's that guy? I want to see. Those are always the best guys. You never hear anything from them before lock, but after they see what happens, that's when they come out, right? That's when they come out of the basement and give their thoughts. If they had Young and Eubanks together, I probably wouldn't because they're not going to be on the court in the same time. Is Award taking a shot on Kennard? Yeah, I think he's playable either way, but it'll look better if Man gets ruled out. You don't think Niang cares about revenge? I mean, it's Niang. Like, sure, he's playable. Like, I think he plays over 20 minutes on the bench. Thoughts on Korkmaz? He's viable as well. Has to hit his shots, but like I do think he starts. You like Kennard and Bledsoe. I think both are fine. I don't comment much, DK, but I've been here every day for over 2 years checking your content. Just wanted to thank you for all your efforts. Hope you. Hey, man, really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. I hope you have a big night as well. Thoughts on Brown tonight? I think Bruce Brown will be pretty low owned. I think if Patty Mills starts, I think he gets a lot of that ownership. But I wouldn't mind pivoting to Bruce Brown at a similar price point, right? If Patty Mills is going to be, let's say, for example, Patty Mills is going to be 40% and Bruce Brown's going to be 10%, I would rather have Bruce Brown. Now, I don't know if the ownership will be that extreme, but I do think if Patty Mills starts, that ownership goes Jordan Poole to get off Steph Curry. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think Jordan Poole's a solid pivot, much cheaper, obviously, and he has a decent amount of upside. So I think Jordan Poole is going a little bit overlooked. I'm probably not going to go to Wiggins. He's been playing well of late, but like, God, that guy is just, he's so frustrating to roster and then like watch the game because like all he'll do is stand in the corner. Like every once in a while he decides to be aggressive on the offensive end and have those big games, but like I would say 95% of the time you're going to be disappointed when you roster Andrew Wiggins. Would you play Mitchell Murray together? I think that's fine. Thoughts on Keldon Johnson? I think a pretty safe play in the mid-range. Should play over 30 minutes. Been pretty productive. Looney or Blake? Blake. I think because Blake can like play like 25 plus minutes. Looney, he's not really going to play more than like 18 to 20 unless something really weird happens. 5,500 for utility. Let's take a look. 55. Yeah. I'll say Bledsoe. Yeah, by far, right? What did he say? Hold on. What did he say exactly? Cade was a better play. It was pretty obvious. It was obvious, guys. Come on. No, yeah, come bucket. I don't think so. I think there's other value plays I'd rather roll the dice on. Thoughts on Maxey? Playable because the minutes. I don't know if I have a favorite. Like, there's no like favorite play for me, honestly, on this slate. There really isn't. Playing both Mills and Brown, good or bad? I don't know if I play both. I don't know if I play both together. Skeet's in chat. All right, who's the play, man? Who's the play? Who's the obvious play tonight? You got to let me and the chat know so we can all win all the money. Who is the play? Who's the obvious play? Please let us know. Please. We're all dying. 3 Spurs, am I crazy? No. Like they all look like pretty similar. Back-to-back ejections, yeah, man. Did you buy into Cade talking it to his old team? Oh, KD. I mean, I think he looks like a pretty safe play. Rubio. Yeah, exactly. Bledsoe or White? Bledsoe. Skeets, man. Who's the play? Who's the play, dude? You're the best. Come on. Let us know. We are literally all waiting. Who is the play tonight? Iggy versus Javon Carter, Iguodala. 4,500 left for the forward position. Let's take a look. I mean, I think Royce O'Neal's like a safe play. Like he's gonna play the minutes, so I think he's probably your safe bet. So I guess Royce. O'Neal, Wiggins are looking like they don't sleep. Wiggins or Draymond? Draymond. Who's getting ejected? Probably someone in my lineup. I know, like, come on. The whole chat is waiting for your breakdown, dude. Who was the play? Thad Young, play of the day? I like Thad. I think he's a pretty safe option. Yeah, get the popcorn gif. Dude, I love the popcorn gif. I love that. It makes me laugh every time. Who do you think scored more real points today? Paul George or Curry? Probably Curry. Paul George, Curry, or Durant for more real points? It would probably be Steph. Tobias Harris going to bust my lineup tonight. I mean, he'll be low owned. That's the reason you go to Tobias, but he doesn't look great. Vassell or Bruce Brown? I think the upset's a little bit higher on Vassell if you can hit his shots. Have you ever tried? Yes, I've never tried it, but I've definitely thought about it. Yeah, crickets. No. Well, Gabe, this is what will happen. He's going to wait until after the slate's over, and then he'll say, this play is real. It was so obvious, right? Have you ever thought about MMA? So, I've never tried it, but I thought about it because then I wouldn't have to deal with the stress and the tilting part of making one lineup. I get to set my exposures, or I could get, if I'm like really, like, for example, last night, I could have went like 30% Dinwiddie, 30% Lowry. Like, there were so many good guard plays instead of like having to pick between Dinwiddie versus Lowry and then get very tilted when it didn't work, when they were pretty identical plays for myself. Yeah, the Tobias matchup doesn't look great. Zubac or Eubanks? I mean, I think the upside is higher on Zubac. Like, I think there's a chance he could play more minutes. So, yeah. Preparing his analysis of Steph being a good shooter. In single entry, do you generally go contrarian? So, yeah, good question. I usually play pretty optimal, and then I'll try to get different in a few spots. That's usually my approach. Not every time, but like, I don't want to fade all the chalk, and I also don't want to play all the chalk. But usually I'll play a decent amount of the chalk, and then I'll take a couple shots on a few low-owned guys. So like last night, Anthony Davis, right? Anthony Davis, Levine. Those are two guys that were pretty low-owned, but I also ate the chalk in guys like Duncan Robinson, and Dwayne Dedman, and Tyler Hero, and Lowry, and THT, right? I still ate a lot of the chalk, but I also took a few shots on a few low-owned guys. Yeah. Ooh, man. Someone is salty. Murray, Poole, Iguodala, Thad Young, Drummond, Maxey, O'Neal, and Bledsoe. Okay. Cole, Dinwiddie, and Lonzo. Hey, man. Haters will always be there, right? They're always going to be there. It is what it is. He's the best, though. He's the best. Cole, Dinwiddie, and then Lonzo were my most exposure for the guard last night. Like Lowry with leverage with Cole, Dinwiddie. Yeah. That's smart. Yeah. Kennard or Mills? That's a good question. I think if Patty Mills starts, he probably gets more ownership. But like if Terrence Mann gets ruled out, I might have a lean to Kennard. Like, they're both pretty similar in the fact of they're scoring dependent. What is the worst point per dollar? Whoever is the worst point per minute is the best play in the slate DK. Exactly. Durant over 42.5 rebounds, points, assists only. Again, I think that game will be played at a pretty fast pace. We will know the best play at 12:30. Yep. Have you ever won first place? Have you ever hit the 100? I've never hit the 100K, but yeah, I've had a lot of smaller field takedowns. My biggest win, I've had a few like 5K plus wins. Looney or Hardenstein. Again, Looney's probably a little bit of the safer play. Hardenstein more the upside play. I did come close to hitting the 100K a couple times, though. Last year I finished, I think, 6th or 7th. Again, I only build one lineup, so I'm not going to have a lot of opportunities to hit the 100K. Fave Spurs exposure. I think Thad and DeJounte Murray. Kuminga, I'm probably going to pass on. Is Iggy going to be chalk? I think it'll be relatively popular. Mitchell over Tobias Harris for me. Is it dumb for me? I want Jordan Poole and Paul George over Vassell and Durant. Okay. Is it dumb for me to stack KD Harden? No one's going to do that. I think I only stack KD and Harden together if I'm just full stacking that game. Is Looney? I don't think Looney will be popular now. KD versus Paul George for cash. It's probably the smallest of lean to George, but it's pretty close. What a great stream. Appreciate that, man. DK, you're the GOAT. If you have haters, you know. Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be guys like that. I like that you only build one lineup. It's easy to say you like everyone when you play 150. Yeah, right. And like most DFS players only play one lineup a night. So like a lot of the content out there right now is more suited towards 150 people building 150 lineups. And it's almost like most of the people don't do that, right? But sometimes you got to make tough calls, like Lowry versus Dinwiddie last night, right? I had to make a tough call, didn't work out, but that's the downside of playing one lineup. Yeah, I think Blake Griffin's solid. Thoughts on best game stack? I think the first one looks more optimal. I think the last one, because of ownership, will be a little bit lower owned. Yeah, I think Patty Mills is a good value. How many years have you been playing DFS? By the way, first time here, loving the stream. Hey, man, appreciate that. A while. 2012, so almost 10 years. Single entries are the way to go. It's definitely less stressful, single entry. Like building 150 lineup. The only reason is like 150 lineups and you get that late piece of news like a few minutes before lock. That would be so stressful. Yeah. One lineup is the way. Yeah. The only thing I hate is when some BS happens at Jeff 50Ks. Blank stare doesn't automatically show up my TD. Hey, there's a lot of people that goes around on Twitter. Like that's a meme, right? O'Neal or Griffin. I think Royce is a little bit safer, but I think the upside is a little bit higher on Blake. I think there's a chance Blake plays more this game. Nickname. It's my initials. Yeah, so that's what most people call me nowadays. My initials. Do you think Iguodala is a good value? He's a solid value. Like he'll probably play mid-20s minutes. So yeah. Pay down at center type of night. I'm fine with it. Yeah. Bledsoe or Jackson. For the price of small lean to Bledsoe, I think the upside is a little bit higher on Reggie, but he has to hit his shots. Entering one lineup equals Steph Curry, no look 3. Are you talking about on Top Shot? Have you entered under a big contest like the Thunder? I've never entered the Thunderdome, no. Hardenstein or Blake Griffin? I think Blake Griffin's safer than Hardenstein. You can expect more minutes from him. KD or Harden, small lean to KD. Yeah, exactly. If I entered the Thunderdome, I would literally, this would be me, right? I would just be like this all night long, just refreshing the app and just no, I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, there is a Discord package. So there's a standard package and the Discord package. But yeah, there's more info down below. If you have any questions, let me know. All right. Any other questions, guys? Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. David, he looks like a David. Close, Danny. But yeah, close. Paul or George? Would you play KD, Harden, and Curry same slate? I mean, you can make that work, and then you just have to go all value. I'm pretty sure you can make that work. So if you go Steph, Harden, like the way I'm doing this though is, again, I'm just full stacking. So yeah, you can play all three together and then just go value around it. So it's possible. Good stream. All right, guys, I'm going to call it on that. I really appreciate you guys coming to check it out. We hit almost 200 concurrent viewers for a 3-game slate. Not bad at all. But I am going to head out of here, so good luck tonight. Let's hope for some big winners. Fingers crossed, no ejections for me tonight. And I'll see you guys back here. We have a bigger slate tomorrow, so I'll see you guys back here then.